let me answer it this way. What makes our lamb meat different from other lamb meat available in the marketplace that I'm familiar with? Because there are hundreds of different sheep breeds, and I don't have experience with all of them. I'll tell you what I find significant. If I go to the grocery stores in Arizona or California or throughout most of the West where I visit with friends and so forth, the lamb that I see for sale in the stores is primarily Northern European origin lamb. Whiteface use fine wool breeds that typically, if they have excess energy, abundant forage in their diets, put on that excess energy as stored fat externally, or in other words, it's on the outer part of the body, just under the skin, as a fat layer that when you butcher that lamb, you would see fat on the outside of the carcass. The sheep that we raise, Navajo Churro sheep with a desert origin, they have the capacity to store that excess energy intramuscularly. And it can be metabolized and utilized in place in the sheep's musculature. So consequently, the flavor profile is quite different. If you eat a lamb chop from a northern origin sheep, a common complaint about first-time lamb eaters or from first-time lamb eaters would be a tallow aftertaste in the roof of the mouth. This is especially after that nice sizzling hot lamb chop has cooled down to room temperature. There's very much a sensation that the fat is not pleasant, not a good flavor, and kind of just sticky. When you have the same cut from a churro lamb or even an aged mutton, it's a lot more like eating a well-marbled beefsteak, where there's fat interspersed within the muscle tissue, and it's still warm, and it just melts in your mouth, and it adds a burst of fabulous flavor. The other thing that I think is that the variety of diet selection that these churro naturally impose, I mean, in other words, if they're in a diet that has a lot of plant diversity, they're going to eat from a large percentage of the plants available, and that's going to have a direct effect on the richness of the flavor. So if you're familiar with the term terroir, the flavor of the land, I think the churro sheep express the flavor of the land much more so than many of the breeds that evolved in a less rigorous or less challenging environment, where the sheep didn't have to be bothered to learn to eat spicy food or anything other than the most delectable, tender, green growing grass and forbs. When you're in a desert and you have long dry spells, you need to learn to eat the gnarly stuff that retains moisture and is still green when everything else has dropped its leaves or cured out to brown. For a desert sheep that has a very compelling flavor profile, it's amazing. And when you match or pair your lamb dish with other native Chihuahuan or Sonoran desert, Mojave desert plants and fruits and flavors, wow, it's unbelievable.